Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Envision Me show. First and foremost, you always know how I'm doing it. Look, we back. I have three homework assignments. I have three homework assignments for you, and they're very easy. Don't huff and puff or look like my grandkids roll their eyes in the back of the head. First, tell me how you're doing. I think it's so important because we sometimes miss that. And I want you to tell me how you're doing and how you're feeling. Two, get your pen and paper because the next amazing guest that I have, she's going to be dropping some nuggets and you guys will get to hear her amazing story and that you can connect to. And then three, tell me, what is your goal for today? It's Win Wednesday. So what is your goal? Have you met your goal? Now I'm going to start off because my phone at this point in time is always ringing, and as my granddaughter said, or dinging. Where what is a goal? And maybe it's too early for you even to say that you have met your goal. But you know what? No matter what, I love celebrating you. And so if you have met your goal already, drop it in the feed because I love celebrating you. And the one way I do that celebration is give you a shout out. But yet maybe you're thinking about it, but you haven't started it yet. Still drop it in the feed. Y'all, I love some celebration. Or you're on the fence and you don't even know where to start at. Now, if that is you, come in, lean in, listen to the stories we have going on, listen to the story we have going on, as well as we're going to give you some tips that you can implement today. I do that because I want you to have a takeaway. I think it's important for us to always have a takeaway from every show. So go get your family, go get your friends. Oh, look, you guys, I got my favorite evening beverage. Y'all know normally I'm already drank my evening beverage or I've already eaten my evening snack. I still have it. So first and foremost, I wanted to ask you all before I bring her on, how many of you are facing burnout? If it's you, drop it in the feed, put a one, just trying to figure out and try to get a feel. If you're feeling embarrassed, let me drop this to you. I actually did some research, and Forbes says 41% people are facing burnout. And I felt that this show, the Vision Me show, allows you to sit back and you can go after your what's next with the help of us as well as the tips. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our favorite guest for tonight. Tonight's show I will let you know whose tonight's show is sponsored by in a little bit, but let me bring on Miss Loretta Holloway.
Well, hello, beautiful lady.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as a guest. This is my first time meeting you, Miss Pamela. It's my delight.
Yay! I'm super excited. Like I said, I've been talking to everybody at my job, and I'm like, if you don't know, I even had them listen to your music. I played the music and everything, but welcome, welcome. So let's jump into this. So first and foremost, you are a jazz singer that is located in South Carolina. Is that correct?
That is correct. I was born and reared in a small town called Belton, South Carolina. And I traveled to Las Vegas. I've traveled around the world, um, Singapore, Australia. I did a Royal Command performance with Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip in Australia. I was in Bangkok, China, Russia when it was Russia, USSR. So I've traveled extensively from the little town of Belton, South Carolina, and I am also officially South Carolina's official First Lady of Song.
So how do you feel about that? I seen that. I'm like, yeah, I already look. I have my phone up because I was going to ask you. So how do you feel about that?
I was happy. It was quite an honor. First of all, because wherever I travel, I would always mention that I am from Belton, South Carolina.
Yes.
And they would say, well, where is that? And I went, well, it's near Greenville, South Carolina. But I always own where I am from.
Yes.
And so that makes a big difference. You got to be from somewhere.
Yes.
And I came home when my parents were transitioning. They left me the home place here in Belton, South Carolina. But my passport is good, and I still travel abroad. And And I'm just looking forward to doing a bit more traveling. I just came back from Chicago. That's not abroad, but um, and it's interesting being back home because I was in Las Vegas for 21 years. I opened for Jay Leno and Whoopi Goldberg and Don Rickles and Yakov Smirnoff and Rich Little. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of experience in the showrooms. Did a soundtrack for a movie called Blackjack, which was written by, um, let's see, he's the last remaining member of the Funk Brothers, Jack
Okay.
Ashford, who did the music. And it was amazing. And they did all the music for Motown. They were
Uh-huh.
the backbone of Motown. So everyone who was an artist at Motown, the Funk Brothers played for them. Diana Ross, um, you name it, Stevie Wonder. They were the it band. They were the it.
The It Band. I love it.
Yeah.
So have you been doing music all your life? And how did you even get into it? And especially I think it's so fascinating, especially, me with the music background. So how did you even get into music?
I think I'm an old soul, Pamela. I
Okay.
really am. I remember when I was a little girl, and I'm the only girl. I have two brothers who are twins, and they're about 7 years older than I. I remember I would go in the house here and I would sing, and I don't know, it was kind of operatic. And
Uh-huh.
I remember my mom saying, "Stop that racket." And so, and I don't know where it came from. I was not exposed to opera. I was not really exposed to that much music growing up,
Mm,
gospel things, in the church and whatnot.
right.
But I did not really get into any kind of jazz music until I entered Claflin College. It's a university now. And my mentor, my first musical mentor, God rest his soul, his name was Skip Pearson.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the official jazz ambassador for the state of South Carolina.
Okay.
Well, I was auditioning for a talent show, and at that time I was doing Gladys Knight and R&B things. And so he passed by the rehearsal room and he kind of came in unannounced and he said, you know, when everybody and somebody looks at you like, you know,
Right. It's the tilting of the head. That's the really the cue. It's the tilting of the head.
yeah, yeah, your voice is more suited to jazz. He
Oh,
said, I hear you among the greats like Sarah Vaughan,
yeah.
Ella Fitzgerald, Carmen McRae, Lena Horne.
Yes.
Nancy Wilson was my first early influence. I loved her style, her grace,
Yeah.
how she pronounced her words, and she was my early influence. So I did end up borrowing at the time a few of her inflections,
Okay.
and then as time went on, and I did more singing around the country in Chicago. I went to Chicago from Belton. That was my first stop, Chicago, and then Los Angeles. Uh, I, one of the greatest compliments I ever had was, "You know who you sound like? You sound like Loretta Holloway."
You I remember I said that. I promise you, when I listen to it, I've listened. You guys, we'll talk more about it, but I was like so mesmerized by your music, and I can hear that in your voice. So all these made amazing musicians, past and present. Is there one favorite musician that you have performed or you perform with, or is there one that you wish that you could perform with?
Well, I really, you mean as far as, oh, I wish I could have been on the same stage with Luther Vandross
Oh.
and Prince. Now, I will tell you that Luther Vandross sang background for me on one of the songs that never got released.
Oh, I was gonna say, was it one of these that's out, so it didn't get released?
It didn't get released. No, I had about three situations that did not pan out.
Yes.
The people disappeared. Um, the money disappeared,
Yes.
and I was left with a cassette, a little cassette. You remember the
Yes,
cassette?
ma'am. I do. I
Okay.
do.
And so one day I found this cassette in the back of my drawer, and I pulled it out, and I still have a CD player,
Yes.
a cassette player. And I listened to it, and a couple of things I had written, and I wanted to revisit. One of which I have released the last 2 years is called "Feels Like Love Again."
Yep. I have that on my list.
You got that on your list? Yeah, feels like I'm in love again. Feels like love. Well, that original interpretation or treatment was a ballad, a beautiful ballad. Gerald Albright was playing on it.
Okay.
So I had written it. It was my copyrighted
Yeah.
song and everything. So it took on a whole different meaning when I got with Just Joe Records these past 2 years. They're out of Johnston, South Carolina. Joseph Williams and Sadasia, his lovely wife. And they produced that song, Feels Like Love Again. But how we got back together was that he called me one day after about 5 years. We had not communicated in about 5 years. He said, Loretta, I have a song that I want you to listen to, and it was called "I'm Still That Lady." Well, the song resonated in me,
Okay.
and I said, "It's just piano and voice, not
Yes.
just, but piano and voice," and I love that. I love anything that's just pure. And I'll
Yes.
talk about my first debut CD, which is called Loretta Holloway
Okay.
Quietly. It's all 17 songs that are um, piano and voice and live strings and whatnot.
Yeah.
So when he played the song, and I said, Joe, why are you giving away the element of surprise at the very beginning? So I rearranged the song so as to get the element of surprise at the end. You don't know who that lady is. It could be, I'm talking about myself. A lot of people think I'm speaking about my mother, which I have said this is my anthem to my mother,
Okay.
the way it is. I've been so many places, met so many faces, from the lowest valley to the highest mountain. But I'd give it all up. I'd give it all up just for one moment with that lady. To sit down and talk with that lady. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. But
No.
it's on
Yes, it
YouTube,
is.
all streaming
Yes, it
platforms,
is.
and it's beautiful.
It is.
Um,
I played it a couple times. Now, the one I really resonated with, or one to ask you about, is 17. Was that about you growing up? Was that you
no,
growing
okay. At 17 is written by Janice Ian.
up? Okay.
I learned the truth at 17. That love was meant for beauty queens.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's on my debut CD. And there are 17 songs. At last, with the verse, which I love doing verses. Everything must change. I'm a fool to want you. Strange fruit is on here, and
Oh,
so the Old Man River is on here. I chose Old Man River. All of these songs are dear to me. Something happened with me with each of these songs that I chose to put on Loretta Holloway Quietly. And these are available also on streaming as well as through my website. And
perfect.
yeah, I would be delighted to personalize a copy for you.
I will
Um,
I will definitely let everybody know. The music is just so soothing. So as we go through, and there's so many women that are just sitting around like, wow, I wish I could get into it. What would be your one piece of advice to help them or they can implement right now?
Implement right now would just go out there and take a chance. I mean, I was very fortunate in my mentor finding me at Claflin College,
Hmm.
and I joined his jazz band. So I was singing at night and going to school during the day. And my parents were going, "We did not pay all this money for you
Right.
to be singing in some smoky bar." you know, but it was the first major decision that I ever made. And I said, "Mom, I want to do this and I am going to do this." And she said, "Well, I need to speak to this man." And
Oh,
his name was Skip Pearson. And she said, "Well, put him on the phone." And she said, "I want you to promise me that you will take care of my daughter." And he was a perfect gentleman. We remained friends, and I remained in his life. Even after I left South Carolina, I
yes.
came back to South Carolina. He was jazz ambassador, official jazz ambassador. He got the Civil Crescent, which is like the highest award you can get from the governor. You
Yes.
know, many, many awards. He was just an amazing, amazing mentor. He plays tenor saxophone, soprano saxophone.
Wow. So
So,
as you have adventured through, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, I apologize. As
mm,
the, as you have gone through so much in your life, and we all face obstacles, but what was the one obstacle that you faced, and how did you overcome it? I know you have, Miss Loretta.
obstacles. I've faced disappointments. And I always tell people, get ready to be disappointed. If you're in this business or in any business that's within the arts or any business that you take upon yourself, get ready to be disappointed. You have to have thick skin.
Mm.
Yes, I've cried. I've had my share of losing, but through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. Anyway, and I did it my way. But yeah, get ready to get disappointed. And so after being disappointed 3 times, that's why Loretta Holloway quietly came along. I said, once before I die, I want to see my face on the cover of a CD, even if I have to produce it myself.
That's right.
And so I went in and I did 17 songs that were very special to me,
Yes, ma'am.
all ballads, because I have a very, very big voice.
Hmm.
And I found that the songs that I did that were very big, like Everything Must Change, I contained them. And I found that there was a wonderful power in being quiet. Wonderful power in being quiet. Even in the studio, I kind of took out some of the piano.
Yes.
And Bobby Schiff is a phenomenal pianist out of Chicago, Illinois. I brought him out to Las Vegas with me. And so he is on Loretta Holloway quietly. But the new songs I'd like to talk about.
Yes, go ahead. I love it. Go ahead. Talk about I listen to it too. I've listened to it all day today.
Did you? Yeah,
Yes.
I have had people who were interviewing me as you are now. They played the song and they came back and they were in tears. They were crying because he said, I couldn't help but to think of my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that is beautiful. Because I am a style. I'm a song stylist. I am a
Yes.
storyteller.
Right.
And I was dubbed that in Las Vegas, that I would take a lyric of a song and make it my dialogue. Because a
Mm.
lot of times I don't sing everything, but I whisper or I speak,
Yeah.
speak the word. And
Yeah.
that draws people in.
I agree. I was there. I
You-
was there. I promise you. I was there. So tell everybody about your new song. Tell them about your current song.
The current song, the first one is called That Lady.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, it is my anthem. I made a promise to my mother before she transitioned that I would start singing and recording my own songs. And you talk about a power. The
Yeah.
first time I did That Lady in front of an audience, I mean, it was magnificent.
Oh, I know it was.
It was magnificent. And I think I was always afraid to do my own songs in front of an audience because I didn't know how they would receive it.
Gotcha.
I could always take someone else's song, like at 17,
Yes.
um, and I'm a fool to want you. And I would always seem to add my own flair to it.
Yes.
And people would say, you know, I've listened to that song, but I never really listened to the lyrics until
Mm.
you sang it. So I I believe in enunciating and pronouncing words and pronunciation, and being clear.
Yes.
That's why I say I'm an old soul, old school, But that's one of the things that I always tell friends. Sometimes I have, talked or been a teacher or had
Yes.
a student, a student at a time, that your responsibility, it's not to the people who didn't show up,
That's right. To those that did.
to those that did.
That's
Whether
right.
there's one person or 1,000 or 100,000.
That's
I
right.
have performed to two people on two occasions. That's
Wow.
how I ended up. I saw my name on the marquee in London before I saw my name on the marquee in Las Vegas.
Wow. How did that make you feel? How did
It,
that make you feel?
it was phenomenal. I mean,
Mm.
I couldn't help but to think of my mother when she said, "We didn't send you to Claflin to sing in some smoky bar and to see my name in lights in London."
Yeah. That was
And that was, I tell you, when I came home to Las Vegas, I did a homecoming, and I was at the Peace Center for the Performing Arts.
okay.
Beautiful theater here in Greenville, South Carolina. And that was the first and the last time I ever saw my mom and dad sitting front row and center. This is mom and dad.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at them. They're gorgeous. They're so
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I
Oh,
had these beautiful gowns, and my first number was called Home, when I think of home. And I came up on a riser up
yes.
out of the floor. It was magnificent.
Oh, I know it was. I
And I had these beautiful gowns by Stephen Urich, who was also a Greenvillian. Um, and it was just amazing how everything just came together. The hand of God was
yes.
moving on
Oh, yeah.
that. The
Yes.
hand of God. It was a 2.5-hour performance. I used the Greenville Youth Symphony
Oh,
to back me. And it was just a magnificent evening. That was the first and the last time. All of my family came, of
yeah.
course.
Oh,
And my niece made her little singing debut. She was 7 years of age.
oh,
And it was so funny. She sang a half a song of I Believe I Can Fly. Um, and she sang a half a song and did a little bow as I was, and then she walked out. I said, and she got a standing ovation. I said, "You come back here right now." I said, "I've been out here busting my can for 2 hours and a half. You come out here, you sing a half a little song, and you
oh,
get a standing ovation. Come back here. Come back here." And
oh,
bow, bow. It was beautiful. It was an absolute
oh,
beautiful.
that is amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing. So, Miss Loretto, if someone or can any besides following you on your website, are you getting ready to do any touring around the United
Well,
States?
I will be. I just came back from Chicago for the
Yeah.
first Chicago Dream Awards. And I was a recipient of the Las Vegas Dream Awards. That was in 2017. Um, and I am going to be doing a jazz festival in Greenville, which is a big, it was like the largest jazz festival they have every year, called Fall for Greenville. And I will be on the Peace Center stage, the amphitheater
Okay.
outside. And so that's going to be October 13th. I'm going to be doing some things with the Ronald McDonald House again.
Oh,
Um, I am looking at perhaps putting together my first Christmas compilation CD and adding some more songs to
Yes.
Feels
Darlene.
Like Love Again and That Lady.
Absolutely.
Um, so those are the things I am looking forward to. And my book, the book that I have.
Right. So I'm glad we're going. That perfectly segues into our book. Everybody, you know how we always do it. We always talk about book on the shelf, and I
Mhm.
believe in one way we can do expand our mind, inspire, come with inspiration is reading. And so, guess what? No perfect way to talk about it is Miss Loretta's book. Inside Loretta is what it is called. And so, Miss Loretta, how long did it take you to write that book?
Well, it took me, this happened during the COVID, the
Okay.
situation, during that dark, the mysterious thing that happened. And I said, before the end of 2022, I am going to write this book. I have been writing little bits and pieces along the way,
Yes,
but it
ma'am.
all came together when I was, we were here in the house and everything. I'm so grateful that I'm surrounded by a lot of trees and deer and armadillo and squirrels. I'm out here talking to the squirrels. It's like I got to start writing something. So the book is a very easy read. It's called Inside Loretta, and there's a lot happening inside Loretta. Um, there are short stories of my life, my stories of my mom and dad, um, and one-line revelations I call Lorettaisms.
Ooh.
I'll give you a sample.
Yes, please.
The greatest feeling I've ever felt was to look at you and feel nothing.
Ooh, that's powerful.
I actually said that. These are actual stories from, or not stories. I don't call them stories. Stories are things you make up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. These
Yes.
are actual sayings that I have said to someone in my life or felt. Here's
Right.
another one. The bond, BOND, the
Okay.
bond had become the bondage.
Ooh. Okay, that's powerful too.
Okay.
Like I'm
Um,
seeing, I'm visualizing all of this. This is amazing.
um, one of my favorites, actually, the favorite one is the one I just said. The greatest feeling I've ever felt was to look at you and feel nothing. I
Mm.
said that as he was sitting across the table, and I'm just having a cup of coffee, and I'm going, you know what?
Would you
Would-
say the best feeling ever?
Yeah, could I get you a refill, sweetie? Anyway,
That's right. But that's good though. That is so
yeah.
powerful. And women should understand how that can apply to their lives now.
Oh,
So
very much so. Very much so. The other one is I am leery of a man who cannot cry,
yes.
yet I am leery of a man who can cry at will. For if a man can cry at will, then I am leery of the validity of his tears.
Ooh.
And that happened too. A drop of a hat. There, go ahead. There you go. Crying again. Send the book.
Oh
It's
my
in the
goodness.
book. I didn't name anybody, but yeah. And so there are things like that in here. And I also there's some dark moments in here as well. And so that's why I am donating portions of the profits to NAMI. And
Oh,
I do believe in safeguarding our mental health as
absolutely.
much as we can.
Right.
Um, there is no shame in going to therapy.
Right.
There's no shame in reaching out and saying, "Listen, I'm not well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
can
Absolutely.
you help me? Can you
Right.
help me? I just need someone to talk to." Um, and so, yeah, portions of the profits will go to NAMI.
I love it.
Um,
And
and
so can people order your book off of your website as well?
yes, it
Okay.
is on my website. It's on the order page. Yeah,
Okay.
the merchandise page.
Okay.
So I have my CD, Loretta Holloway Quietly. I have the book, um, Inside Loretta. And what else is on the? I have to get more merchandise. I'm into cups, but I have to get more merchandise on my website.
I so
Mhm.
understand that. Well, Miss Loretta, as you're such a busy, busy woman, do you take time out for some self-care for yourself? And if so, what is some of the self-care routines that you do for yourself?
Well, I really enjoy walking, but I
Mm,
don't. I to be quite honest with you, I do not walk as much as I should. And my mornings, I know that is a wonderful way of self-help and clearing your mind and getting mental clarity.
yes, ma'am.
You know, it really, really is. Exercising, um, I need to exercise a little bit much more.
I understand.
Um, I know when I was in Las Vegas and I was doing two shows a night, two 1 hour and a half shows a night, and I would always lift myself on the piano. So I didn't, and I sing hard. So I
Hmm.
really didn't need to work out. I had
Right.
beautiful, beautiful arms,
Right.
sculpture arms, and I want them back. So I do some exercises every now and then, um, not as diligent as I should,
I
but
listen. I can understand you're so busy. You're so busy, so
I would
busy.
like to be even more busy. I really, really would. And I thank Miss Tangi Davis, who's my publicist, for arranging this. Oh, let me
Yeah.
show you the picture. Again, again, I was in a place and there was I was in Bangkok. I was in Bangkok entertaining,
Yes.
and there were some a group of gentlemen and ladies who came in. They're Australian. They came in, and so somebody said, "I right away I knew they were showbiz people."
Okay.
I knew that thing. So I had about a 16-piece orchestra, and they said, "Can you sing Waltzing Matilda?" I said, "What is a Matilda?" So this gentleman jumps up, and I'm very you don't
Yeah.
come on my stage unless
Exactly.
I invite you. But there
Exactly.
was something about his aura. His name is Paul Sharrett. I will
Okay.
always credit Paul Sharrett. He's no longer with us, but I am still friends with his wife, Susie Sharrett in Australia. So he sang a waltzing Matilda, and of course, after my show, we met, we spoke, we exchanged information. He said, "I'm going to get back with you in about 6 months." I went, "Okay, you just do that."
Did
So
he?
6 months later, he said, "Loretta, how would you?" He was so eloquent. "Loretta, how would you like to sing for Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip in a Royal Command performance?"
Really? Look. How oh my goodness.
I said, "Book it."
I know that's right. What do you say? Go let's go ahead. That
Yeah,
is
so this
awesome.
is Paul. Let me see. This is Prince Philip, the late Prince Philip, and of
Okay.
course the late Queen Elizabeth, right
Right.
there. Yeah, but my entire I did 8 minutes. Paul said, "Listen, what I need from you is the opening song that you did and
Uh-huh.
the Broadway medley." So they augmented that 16 piece to like I think a 52-piece orchestra.
Oh my goodness.
So that my whole segment is also on my YouTube channel,
Okay.
uh, which is Loretta
Right.
Holloway YouTube. And that was just it was a whole week. I did a beautiful fashion layout. I had just come from Bangkok, and I bought all these wonderful gowns and cutesy little dresses and everything. So we did a whole fashion layout. Um, they treated me like royalty.
I'm
They
sure.
really did. And she was a joy to meet, Queen Elizabeth.
Was she? She
Yes.
was wow.
Yeah, I forgot to curtsy. I forgot all that. And I was the only American on the show. I was
Oh,
the
wow.
only American on the show. Um, next to the last to close out the event.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So
So
how did
I,
it feel? How did it feel to be performing for her? How did it feel?
it was in a way surreal. I'm going, and I was so happy. That was the first time I ever heard my mother say to someone, my daughter just sang for Queen Elizabeth. You know, that was the first time I had ever heard that much pride in her voice. And I will always hear that. That was a
Mhm.
special moment for me.
I could see. I totally understand. I could see that. I could see.
Yeah.
That's why I had to ask you, how was it? Well, Miss Loretta, our time has come and gone. This has been so fun. I could talk to you all day. Remember, I told you I could talk, so I could sit here and talk to you all day. I would love to have you back. We'll have to see if we can bring you back here and we can talk more and hear how is it going, and we'll hear what's on the horizon for
The
you as
horizon. Yes.
you move through and everything like that. But before we close down tonight's show, what would you like to leave everybody with?
You know what? Um, Time waits for no one. I just had a birthday, and I am a year. I am a day older today than I was yesterday.
Ooh,
Time waits for no one. Enjoy your life. Go out. Go fishing. I need to go fishing. I love fishing.
do you really? Oh, you
I
like
love fishing off the bank and just yeah, with the little bobber and everything.
yes.
I can bait my own hook and everything. It's all good.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Enjoy life.
Yes.
Get your mother's recipes.
Yes.
Get your mother's recipes and learn your history. Let them speak. Sit
Mm,
down over dinner. Turn off your cell phones and have a conversation with your parents and your brothers and your sisters and your siblings. But most of all, get to know your parents, what they went through, what they experienced, the wisdom that they can share with you. But get your mom's voice on tape or
yes.
video, because I made a mistake and I erased my mother's voice. And
Oh,
to this day, I that was one of the things that I regret.
yes.
You can have the same utensils, the same measurements of ingredients, um, and that's a story also that's in my book of the sage dressing
Ooh.
that didn't turn out right. It smelled like mom's sage dressing, and
Yes.
then I cut into it.
And it wasn't it.
It will never be your mom's sage dressing. So
Sage.
that would be something that I would leave for everyone.
Well, Miss Loretta, I want to thank you. This was a powerful, I'm so grateful for you have joined. I love to hear your music. We'll stay and connect so everybody can hear how they can connect with your music and get your book. I'm going to move you into the green room. Don't hang up with me. I'll be right back with you in just a minute. Again, thank you. You're
Thank you,
amazing.
Miss Pamela. Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody. Did you hear Miss Loretta? She had dropped nuggets all over. Did you get it? Because my paper, I know I'm full. I got notes everywhere. And so if not, I need you all to get out here, and you can read, you can listen to this, right? You'll be able to hear the replay. You get to hear the replay on all of the podcast platforms this Friday. As we always do, we drop the new episode every Friday. Then, as well as it will be then moved over to Vision Made TV, which is on Apple, Amazon, and Roku. Look, I have to think of the different platforms. But before I shut this down, I want to first and foremost thank you all for joining us. This was amazing, and know that you only have one life to live. You heard Miss Loretta say, "Time waits for no one." So you need to go out here and live life for you and no one else. And no, don't go for no regrets, right? We all are facing, remember I asked you, are you facing burnout? We all are facing burnout, but there's a way you can handle burnout. You can face it and move forward so you don't have to waste any time. And if you're feeling stuck, or you don't even know how to move past the burnout, go ahead and email me, or you can text me at 614-674-0074 and say burnout. And I know you need my help, and I will be definitely in touch with you. If you feel someone can get inspired or help them that are facing burnout, help them motivate to the what's next. Share. You know, I always say sharing is caring. Until next week, as y'all always know, I bring out some amazing guests. Like I just had Miss Loretta. If you have any comments, drop them in the feed or send them to me. Also, too, don't forget you can get Miss Loretta's her CD and her book. Her email is right below, which is www.lorettaholloway.com. She has her book. She has her CD that she just talked about. And she says there's something else out there. I think there's some merchandise, maybe some merchandise out there. But check her out. If you're needing more information on how you can get connected with, just email me or text me, and I will definitely get connected to her, get y'all connected. Okay, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you. Go out here and make your vision known and stop facing burnout, because you don't have to, because we can empower you, inspire you to your what's next. Take care, everybody.